to communications strategist Ashley Pratte and political analyst Rashad Ritchie. Good morning to both of you. Ashley, we'll start with you. You're also a board member with Republican Women for Progress, and you write that President Trump's efforts to delegitimize and call into question the integrity of the voting process are probably the most dangerous threats to democracy we've seen by the president to date. So what do you say to Republican leaders who haven't spoken up?
I say over the last 4 years, I yet to see them exert common sense or spine. They basically kowtowed to Trump this entire time and made sure that, they remade the party in his image and likeness. And the best thing they can do moving forward is disassociate from Trump and this administration and rebuild the party. Now, as a board member for Republican Women for Progress, we endorsed Clinton in 2016, so none of us ever voted for Trump. And endorsed Biden in 2020, knowing that he was the best candidate for this moment. I myself am now an independent and have left the party because of this. Trump hijacking the Republican Party and the party allowing him to do that is extremely dangerous. And if they don't course correct, they could be in for a long time before more Republicans ever can have a shot at the White House. And again, these ideas that Trump is going to run in 2024, extremely dangerous. And that's exactly why he's continuing this crazy idea that he is somehow still a chance at the White House. And these delusions that are continuing, again, are just falsehoods and perpetuating a narrative that is untrue. And the best thing that officials can do in the Republican Party right now is disavow this, disassociate from it, and congratulate President-elect Joe Biden.
So, Rashad, concession or not, we heard Ali Vitale reporting that Biden is full steam ahead, and he has a lot to consider when he picks his cabinet. Specifically, that upcoming Georgia senator runoff, two of them, by the way, where you are. So what's the priority here? Building a really strong cabinet with recognizable names, or making sure, trying to ensure that Democrats can control the Senate?
Well, he needs to do both. Because the truth of the matter, everything that Biden and Harris campaigned on, you cannot implement these progressive ideologies and progressive mandates without having a Senate to approve them. So they need to do both. I understand that Trump is not going to concede. It doesn't matter. His concession is not necessary for the transfer of power. And I know Biden is not getting distracted by the rhetoric and the tweets and the press conferences, the rallies that are happening. Those are distractions. I mean, Trump may even announce he's running for re-election again right after certification, which is insane and ridiculous, but that's the kind of person he is. It's going to be hard for him to be president if he's locked up while he's not president. And I'll say this to everyone, 3 days to remember: December 8th, December 14th, and December 23rd. December 8th is when the Electoral College has to do what's called their safe harbor deadline. Every Electoral College vote must be in. December 14th, it is then basically certified, where everybody has to cast their Electoral College vote. December 23rd, it goes to the president of the Senate, who is in fact the vice president of the United States, Mike Pence. It is a done data at that point. Transfer of power will take place January 20th, per the mandate of the 20th Amendment of the U.S. Constitution.
Rashad, while we have you, I wanted to ask you about this. Representative-elect Cori Bush, a Missouri Democrat, said several of her Republican colleagues mistakenly called her Breonna Taylor because of the mask that she was wearing. She was wearing a face mask, which had the name Breonna Taylor. And she says it's so sad that members of Congress are so unfamiliar with a case that has become national news. What's your reaction to that?
It's more than sad, it's a damn shame. But it shows you how disconnected they are to the reality of this country, and also to the plight of the suffering of Black Americans. What they see is a Black person and not an American person. This is American suffering happening on their watch, and they're so inconsiderate, they don't take time to Google the individuals that we're mourning over.
Ashley, quickly before I let both of you go, you mentioned that Republican leaders need to reverse course and reject Trumpism, but when we hear about a 2024 or potentially Don Jr. Taking those reins, do you think that that's a path right now that Republicans are willing to take?
Well, I think what they're willing to do versus what they should do are two very different things. I think they should be willing to reject Trumpism, but we've yet to see them do that. And I think, again, that has perpetuated this dangerous Republican form of Trumpism that has really taken hold in the party. And if they don't course correct again to a more moderate, policy-focused party, and they do stand to lose a lot. They've lost a lot of female voters. That suburban women demographic that catapulted Trump in 2016, they lost them in 2020. Now, they weren't the only voting bloc that, came out in droves for Biden, but they were an important part of that. And I think moving forward, the party really needs to focus on that autopsy report from 2012 that talked about a big tent party being more inclusive. Now, will Americans follow along with that after the last 4 years of the hateful rhetoric they've seen? Probably not, but it would go a long way to start repairing some of that trust with former Republicans, even if they don't join the party again.
Ashley Pratte and Rashad Ritchie, thank you for joining us.